can, as long as letters aren't thrown in, which again, like I said, we will on the test and quiz throw letters in because we want you to be able to do this by hand. What's the class is required is that you do it by hand. It's the only way we can force it, because there's no work to be shown, is to throw letters in so that you have to do it by hand. Right, but you can check the ones that don't have letters on the calculator. And so what you do is you get it's the same place that we did in chapter 3. You go into the matrix key in the calculator. So remember, the matrix key is on the 83, 84. It's that X to the -1. The inverse key above it, it says matrix. So remember, you have to hit second that. And then you go in and you have your names. Alright, and then you go over to edit. And you pick one. Now, you could call them by the same name. So if you wanted to, you could, go down and pick matrix C. And then plug it in. And then you remember when you go plug it in, you have to tell it what size it is. So C is a 3x2. And then type it in carefully. And then you'll do the same thing for D. Alright, matrix D is a 2x1. And then on the calculator, to do the multiplication, is you go back in here. In order to do it, you pick the name. Alright, so you'll go pick C times D. And you multiply them out in that order, because that's the order they're asked to do. And so once you've typed in your matrix C into your calculator, once you've typed in your matrix B, then you go back into your matrix again. You pick the name of each one in the right order. So the first thing you're going to do is pick matrix C. Then you're going to hit times, and then you're going to go back in and pick matrix D. And then hit enter, as long as it's in the order. The calculator will spit out the answer with the multiplication here. It'll spit out when it multiplies. -5, 43, -23. And then we asked you for one part. We asked you for M11, which is row 1, column 1. So -5 would be the answer choice you'd select. What happens when I flip it around? So your calculators you still have the matrices in your calculator. But if I flip the order around and multiply it in the other direction, right, what happens here is your calculator will give you an error message. If you go in, you pick your matrix D first, then you hit multiply matrix C, and then you hit enter, it'll give you error. It says dimension mismatch. That means the dimensions don't match. Right? I can't do the math. This is a 2x1. This is a 3x2. They don't match. I don't have enough numbers in my rows in D to match my column numbers in C, and I don't. There's only one number in my row D. There's 3 numbers in my column C, and so I can't do the math. And the calculator tells you that. It says error, dimension, D-I-M, that's what it comes out, mismatch. All right, error. So what we say is, well, undefined. The operation is undefined, so we just go ahead and say undefined. All right, do the same thing for the next one. Again, you can plug these into the calculator. I need to make it a little bigger than what I have on my screen here. All right, so try this out on the calculator. Type in matrix A, so go into the second, that X inverse, which is your matrix. Go to edit. Type in your matrix A, which is a 2x3. And then edit again. Type in your matrix B, which is a 3x2. And then once you've got them plugged in there correctly, then you're going to go back to your home screen. Pick the name. Right, go back into your matrix. Pick the name matrix A. Pops up. And then hit time, or I want to do it in the other order. Sorry, B times A. B first, sorry. Pick B. And then multiply by my matrix A. So go in and pick the name. So under name, it's the very thing that props up right away on when you go to the matrix. So you go in, you pick B. It should pop up on the home screen. Then hit times. Then go back into matrix again. Pick A. Right, then you should have B times A at the top. Hit enter. And it will give you the resulting matrix, which should be, right, B is a 3x2, A is a 2x3, so those match up. I'm taking the 3 rows in B, multiplying by the 3 columns in A, and so when you get your resulting matrix, it should be a 3x3, and it is. Right? The calculator should give you, it's -8, 9, 3, 6, -3, 0, 14, -37, and 8. Now, like I said, it is always important that you know how to do things on the calculator, but you do need to know to do them by hand because on the quiz and the final exam, we will throw letters on it so that we know you know how to do them by hand. All right? There is a process you can use the calculator if you want to check the ones that do not have letters in them. You can do that. All right, we'll stop there. There's one last thing I need to talk about before we wrap up 4.2.